But yeah, this was like super easy comparatively to first run.
Yeah, I mean, with the addition of Jubilee blind in doing all of her stuff, you wouldn't think she would have been that much of a difference, but she's huge difference.
It really goes to show comparatively to like DD3 where you really wanted like percent damage. That was like the king of that. Now the king of it's CC, crowd control and stuff.
Yep.
Big time.
It is. It's really managing who does what when.
Because like my tunes right now in this hit, they're not like at full health or anything, but I'm still doing well because I'm hitting the proper crowd control on people.
Yeah, the longevity on those legendaries is actually pretty insane.
Thank God too, because this was so expensive. Like I can't imagine what year tier 16 is gonna be like. Ooh, man. It's going to be the one with the spinning in the background, too, so everyone's going to really want it. I really hope it's not like I want it to be balanced. I don't want it to be too minor of an upgrade. I don't want it to be like you need it or you lose.
Yeah. See, like I like as much as everyone complains about the Dark Dimensions, I really do like the whole planning phase of it and finally getting into it and like doing it. I mean, 3 obviously was the worst out of all of them because it feels like the payoff was minimal, but also it just a huge slog. I mean, it was like no skill, just throw people at some tunes and hope for the best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would only say that the City Node 3 really felt like that, honestly. The only one that got close to Dark Dimension 3 status was that. Like, this Legendary node I'm doing right now that I just actually had to reset on because I want to beat it on this final wave.
Yeah.
I know I can. They just killed my Doc Ock, so it's going to happen.
It will. You got this. We're all counting on you.
By the way, we are doing the podcast, episode 1 of something. Don't know what we're going to call it yet, but we're just shooting the shit and talking Strike Force.
It's a damn thing, and we almost have Big Daddy Dooms, as they call them. I don't know if anyone calls them that, but
I call mine Daddy Doom. I do.
I hate having a fucking baby Doom. I feel inferior. Where it's just like you unlock Doom, yep. It's like, is it a baby? Yep. And then they just walk away from me. It's sad.
Mm-hmm. I would say the only place that the Doom that's 5 stars is really relevant would probably have to be the raids, honestly, because in war,
yes.
like he's intimidating. Like it makes a BO attack that team, which is X-Men with Ghost in place of Psylocke and Doom. But even though it draws that, it never like wins.
Yeah, I mean the only hope of a baby Doom in war is that they don't recognize it's a baby Doom.
Really,
and they go full tilt at them. I mean that's it. That's all you have to hope for because essentially they could easily beat it. They could punch down a little bit. It's almost like that Heroes for Hire team that is missing Misty or Colleen, and you're just hoping that someone gets fooled by it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Not that I was fooled by one at the end of a war, last war, where I'm like, all right, I'm going to use Black Order to kill this. They've got Ultron on the team. And I'm like, wait a minute. And Jessica Jones? I'm like, shit.
Was that the one that we just finished?
No, that was the last one that we had.
Friday?
Yeah, I was like, okay. I'm like, I'm gonna destroy this team. This is all that's left. Because I've seen people kill Heroes for Hire with a big punch down by a Black Order, and this was like a 300k punch down.
Someone posted a punch down on Heroes for Hire with it was another big one, like 200k plus, but with Silver Surfer X Factor.
Really?
Yeah.
And it worked?
Yeah. It was like a 200k plus punch down, but it worked.
I mean, I could see how that would work. I mean, because the main thing is just Surfer just needs to take out one person. Have you ever experienced Surfer not stripping the charge from someone?
I haven't, but I know for a fact it has because I've watched it happen in footage.
See, I've watched it happen too, but is it because we're watching basically Krakens and like extreme whales do these battles where everyone's built up so high, and I mean we're kind of under that kind of level where we're seeing big Heroes for Hire, but nothing like that. Do you think that might be why?
Yeah, we're like lingering on the edge of falling off the cliff that is Elo Hell, I would say. You know how Valley did that video where he talked with his alliance mates? I feel like we're like 2 steps away from that right now, because we almost dropped out of Plat 2 today, but we didn't. But like, I feel like if we climbed up a little bit more, like to a place really realistically we can't get until we had more large members, which it's really hard to attract someone that big, so I don't think that's gonna happen. But like, if you were like 1.1 of like a tenth of a tier up from us alliance wise, you'd probably be there. Because like, we get some horrible matchups, but we actually had a punch across today.
Yeah, this was the first one I remember happening in the last like 6 months. We've been in ELO Hell, I think, for over a year now, and it's because we choose not to take days off unless we're punching up like way too much, or we know it's over. Someone who just like, everyone just buys 4 in the beginning, then we know it's done.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm trying to have happen more with mixed success, because I wanted to do it in one war where we were in a huge punch up and we had no choice, no chance really, rather, but it didn't really happen. But I guess it just depends.
Yeah, I've tried to champion that in the past, and I do like the thought of, hey, we don't care, let's just keep punching up, but it can become demoralizing. Like,
yeah,
and a lot of people talk about how alliances split up and break and whatnot, because you don't want to have to keep punching up, and then people get mad because we lose, and then so every loss is precious, and there's so much pressure on everyone, and it's just like, damn. I mean, yeah, on the days that you do perfect, even though you lose, you're like, hey, I did perfect, but that doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is sometimes people taking off wars to them is more demoralizing than the hopeless losses. I think that's part of it too. I think some people in our alliance, like I'm kind of on that same page sometimes, depending, would rather be taking that chance, that slim chance that we eke it out, and rather than just fold over.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is a pride thing. I feel when it comes to some of these wars, where it's like, well, let's do it. We've done it before in the past, and I mean, you can kind of tell out the gate if they're just going to thrash you. I mean, if you see more than like 3 people buy 4 attacks, tap out. I mean, if you're seeing like 6 or 7 or 10 people, boom, they bought 4 in the first 4 hours, then you're pretty much done.
I think that's why they yielded on us this alliance war that we just had. That's still technically ongoing, but it'll probably be over by the time this is released.
Yeah,
considering the length.
Who had issues with mercs.
Yeah, that was funny, man. They just threw everything but a counter at that at the end. I should probably, I'll throw a screen grab up of what happened, because I don't think there's any harm in showing that. It was funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that sucks, because we haven't encountered anything like that before, where we just mistake after mistake. But I mean, we've seen it with Doc Ox and Marauders and whatnot, where it's just all the cooldowns and stuff are set in a way, you just go at it and you underestimate it, where it's like, no, you should punch down.
You should. It's always better safe than sorry. Even in a war like we just had, where it was technically a punch across, like, for them it was also a punch across, and they weren't punching down, and they paid the price for it. Yeah, I mean,
another thing in wars that I think a lot of people, especially early on, like when we were in gold, it was huge to, we got to punch up, and when someone would punch across, they'd get like, hey man, you got to save that next time. And now we're almost like, guys, punch down, because at the end of the war we got like 10 BOs left.
Yeah, I agree. Like when I was in my last alliance with my buddies, we were like wavering between gold 3 and gold 4, and it was that same thing, like, hey man, don't use that team, save that for like a bigger punch up. Like, it's totally different now, like especially in the heroes for hire meta. Like, I can't speak to what it's like down there now that with all these characters are out, but like, man, like things have really changed.
And what do you think about that? Because I kind of like it more that now we're almost seeing it's not about full clearing, it's about just attacking smart, different teams. I mean, it's not just, all right, this war I'm going to use power armor against this. I'm going to use aim against this. I'm going to use this full Asgard team against this. Now it's just, hey, let's mix these things up. I kind of like it creatively more.
I 100% agree. I like it more too because it's not. It doesn't feel like a race that I've done. It used to feel like a racing game that I've played that same race 50 times before, and I was just filling in all the puzzle holes of like this team counters that. Oh, BH2, BKT, blah 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 blah, and now it's like there's some more creativity to it. It's harder for sure, but like I think at first people were really bemoaning the whole Heroes for Hire thing, saying it was like some kind of like a cash grab by them, when really, in all reality, we've found a ton of counters for it really quickly, and they're about to release a whole new synergy counter and Infinity Watch for it, which I think is kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, it is. And I was talking to my friend who's a 4 million TCP alliance, and same thing. Like he witnessed it with Hydra, where he's like, "Oh man, I finally got Hydra." I said, "Dude, at this level, no one even uses Hydra anymore." And whatnot with Red Skull on defense, just because of a Black Bolt and whatnot. And,
it's rough.
And then he talked about getting like Asgard. This was like as they were being released, and he was just like, "Oh man, this is awesome." I said, "We don't even use Asgard anymore." I said, "The best thing about Asgard is they unlock Black Bolt at this point." And then also talking to like my brother and my other friend who just started their accounts, who's like, "Hey, who should I use?" And I'm almost like, I don't know. Almost.
It's a hard question to answer at this point.
Yeah, it's like, who do you even start out with? And both of them unlocked Kestrel, and they're just like, wow, this changed the game completely. I'm like, can you imagine starting this game with a Kestrel?
Oh, that's why I really like Tony Scangili's Dolphin Tales video, because he's doing that basically. Simple.
Oh, really?
But he's doing that, yeah. He's like level 60 something on his new secondary Dolphin account, where he just gets like Kestrel and Surfer and like those type of characters, and like tries to see what the game is like from that perspective. And he's like basically, if you don't have Surfer, Kestrel, and Zemo, you can kiss Arena goodbye in that early stage. Yeah,
because my friends were like up high in the thousands and whatnot. Once they got Kestrel, they start moving down. They're like, dude, I got the 600 today. I'm like, wow, all right. And then like 400, and it's crazy to see that kind of thing, because I remember when I was first playing and Nick Fury was released, and they were the men. Just trying to beat that with a hodgepodge group of people. So, and I really need to catch this Tony Scangili thing, because he's like probably one of my favorite. I feel most underrated content creators out there.
Yeah, it's a fantastic series, and it gives a nice perspective too, because like you were saying, you wonder what it's like, and he gives a really accurate portrayal. He like charts it all and stuff too. It's great.
Yeah, and it's like, do you know anyone else who like plays at like a lower level?
Not that are like putting stuff out that people can watch, but like I do for sure, like my buddies and stuff.
And what's their overall feedback from it? Because it's almost given me a new perspective of the game, talking to people at a really low level, because they're almost oblivious to all the issues and problems, and they're just like, hey, they gave me cool stuff. And then I tell them why people are mad, and they're like, I don't care. Like,
no, that's pretty much exactly what it's like, except for like the leader of my old alliance. Like everyone was on that same page of, hey, this stuff's cool. Like he was really the only one that was kind of like really heavily following the way the meta was changing and stuff, and was very into it. Like him and like the top 3 people were kind of like that, but then like the vast majority of the alliance was more on the, hey, they gave me cool stuff page.
Yeah, and like I get that there's bugs all the time, and like they happen and occur, and it gets frustrating, and all they want to do is make money, because guess what, they're a company. But I do think this is one of the better strategy games out there, and that's why I play it. And I think people get offended sometimes when I'm not as concerned about it, and I'm just like, well, yeah, it's gonna happen. They're gonna screw up, they're gonna do things, they're gonna screw us, they're gonna put walls, just like on the Doom Raid right now. And it's part of the business. But I do like seeing people who are like, I don't know and I don't care, and that's why I feel sometimes it's an echo chamber of people in content creation that are just like, this is stupid, this is horrible, this is shitty, and then they have to keep harboring on it, where not complain about it, but when every video is about how horrible the game is, it's like, all right, you should tap out.
I do
right
have
now.
to say though, for this particular ISO change, like the fact that they still haven't rolled back on it, it's kind of crazy to me because it is such a money grab comparatively to some of the things. Cause
with what I said, now this thing is just like, it's insurmountable now to get there. Like the other thing was, hey, build up these specific tunes to beat Doom. We did that. Awesome. But now it's take this freeform thing we gave you and had fun with to tool around, and now pay money if you want to tool around with it.
Yeah, they ruined like one of the best, most heavily play-tested parts of this game. Like I don't know, because obviously I'm not a envoy and not part of the group that gets to playtest certain parts of the game, but from what I've heard from other people, there were like 2 or 3 different iterations of ISO 8 before its full release. So like they worked really hard on this and made a really good player-friendly feature, and they just kind of said, screw it, it's not earning like the rest of the game already is. Like, it does feel very greedy.
No, and that is something where it's just like, man, like, why did they have to do it? I mean, I almost thought the same thing with the alpha rate difficulties, and which I still hate, by the way, the 4.3 that they did. They're still manageable over time, though, and you still know what you have to do to it. It's kind of the same thing. Like, okay, build specific people, and that's fine. But again, they've already mined the hell out of that, and now they're trying to mine the thing that we all loved, where it's like, I mean, you get someone to 5, you're happy, you're excited, and you want to make it count. And now it's like, shit, I gotta get all my X factor up. It's like that's kind of shitty.
Yeah, they took what became, or let me rephrase that. They took one of the most freeform, non-required, like player freedom friendly parts of the game, and made it a requirement, just like ISO, or sorry, that's funny, just like levels and gear and anything else. Like, it doesn't feel good as a player. Like, and now I'm over here sitting on almost 500,000 ions because I'm scared. Like, it's not. It's very bad.
Yeah, but I mean, it's almost like gear management. We have to be very selective on gear management, or for over 2 years we may have a Gamora gear 13 with all their T4s, and finally she becomes of use. But
that doesn't always happen though. But it happened to you.
But exactly, it's like I did these things in the beginning by luck, but also I've had a useless character at a high level.
Yeah.
For no reason for over a year. And now with this, it's like with gear, it's just, oh my god, I gotta make sure I'm not putting it to the wrong person. It's like everyone wanted to do Black Bolt out the gate, and then it's like, no, you gotta do gear 15 for your symbiotes, and it's like, yeah, okay, all right. So it's you can't do your favorites, and now it's going to be the same thing with this, the management of it. But now it's just putting in resources to people you don't really like really sucks.
Yeah, and I think Scopely has to be really careful at this point, because they're treading down a dangerous path that a lot of other games that they make tend to go down, where they start releasing a lot of OP stuff before it falls off. And I don't think that's the right decision, because this is such a growing and profitable game for them, even though it's currently hemorrhaging players due to the issues we've just talked about. Like, they got to be careful, because Marvel Future Rev's coming out soon, and I think everyone's going to be all over that game. If it's anything like Genshin Impact, which is what Tony has been saying is the one it most resembles, like, I mean, that's a really fun game. That feels like Breath of the Wild, but like free to play. It's really good. And if that has the Marvel tag on it, it's gonna sell like hotcakes to any whale that wants.
I'm hoping that is actually good, and I need more characters to come out for it before I even start it, maybe. But I hope it's good. But I do like the fact that this game and like Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, they have that like turn-based need in me that I have.
Me too.
But at the same,
I'm a long-time Civ player.
Yeah. See, and I need that, because even Final Fantasy doesn't play like that anymore or anything like that. And yes, this isn't like Final Fantasy, obviously, but it just I've always loved these kind of strategy games of when to hit, when do I hit, when do I do this. But with seeing Infinity Watch come, it's like, damn, they're just delivering powerful character after powerful character. This is insane.
It is.
Right now.
It's very
Which,
insane.
like you said, are they just dumping out all this content that they had saved down the road just to like, hey, here you go, let's make a bunch of money, and then they won't have anything for a very long time and basically abandon it because now there's this new IP that they care about and put more money into.
Yeah, I really hope that's not the case because stuff really did get set off and knocked their whole roadmap out of whack. So maybe it's because of that. Maybe it's not because of like an impending doom. I hope. I feel like there's too many players for them to just drop it entirely because like they say that about a bunch of games, but all those games are still around. Like I know a ton of people that still play Clash.
Yeah, I mean there's so many games out there, and I've tried to tell people like who complain and not defending Scully because obviously they do a lot of shitty things, but it's like, look, everyone said Candy Crush ain't gonna last. Everyone says this isn't gonna last because they take money. Pokemon Go, these things are still profitable, still around.
They are, and
this has the Marvel IP to it. Why would this company who banks on this game just be like, yeah, we're done? It's like I can't foresee it happening. In the same with it hemorrhaging players. It's hemorrhaging the well-known players and the big players.
Yeah,
but there's always a new whale down the street. Like I think that's what people don't want to admit, that like if a Remenek stopped playing,
there'll always be
a new Remenek.
Yeah, there's always a philosopher.
Yeah, there's always, and again, not to keep kissing ass to people, but I love Philosopher. Even though everything he talks about is high level stuff, I think the guy is smart as hell. I love listening to his stuff.
Oh yeah, I like all them content creators. There's not a content creator I don't sing the praises of. I enjoy them all.
Yeah. For the most part, even the small ones that have like 2 likes or 3 likes, where I'll look up like how to beat a Doom node or whatever. I appreciate anyone who's posting anything on there that helps each other out. Basically,
that's really what it is. It's just like a drive to like create more of the community and help people out and like kind of get through the game more together.
Yeah, definitely.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of the community of Marvel Heroes, and I'm really hoping that hole for an action game is filled by that the new Marvel IP coming out. I can't remember the name of now that we just talked about. Because as much as I do like this game, I have time for another Marvel game.
Yeah, well, see, and that's the thing. Like, I room for another game for some reason, and I was like, you know what? So that's why I downloaded Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and I like it. Like, I'm obviously started out, but I did what I approached it with. Okay, who do I need to actually get to unlock legendaries? And I started doing it that way, and it's actually been fun. But graphics wise, it's just not that good. I love Star Wars, so that it helps with that need. But
they have a lot more. They have a lot more permanent legendary events, I believe, which that kind of comes with being an older game, but still.
They do. Like, there's so many legendaries, and it's just when you have the right amount of people up, then you do it. It's like they're all laid out there. And yeah, there's certain times when they're available and not, but for the most part, a lot of them are there. Like, in the first month, I got Emperor Palpatine, who's a legendary, and I was like, wow. So it is one of those things of, if they have the right IP and treat people respectively, they can make a ton of money. But like we said, they're kind of with this ISO thing. They really slapped us all in the face.
They really did, yeah.
And I mean, what are your plans for this? I mean, just wait and see. Let's see how the raids go.
Yeah, I'm literally just gonna have to play it by ear. That's why we were talking to the captain's chat about that, actually, like what we're gonna do, because Bright's gone in and made his chart for it already, and it's pretty daunting, like how much someone who has quite a bit of ISO level 5 has to do. And I'm just hoping that people are gonna be able to build for the lanes that they're in, and we can just go from there. Because honestly, like, I don't know, we don't know enough. And like the fact that there was so much negativity in response to the original changes that they listed, and they didn't waver, worries me significantly.
Yeah. The only thing the optimistic part of me, which also actually doesn't exist for this, but my devil's advocate basically is, okay, they have to be giving us a shitload of compensation somewhere
They really
to
need to,
offset
yeah.
it. And I know it's not going to be as high as everyone wants, where instantly I can bring up 5 new tunes to that level, but it has to be something reasonable where it's like, okay, here's some more ISOs. That's like great. The is it the ISO crystal? That's the currency basically.
Yeah, ions.
Oh, yeah, the ions. That's what it is. Ions. The if they don't give us enough ions, it's just we're stuck. And I can't see a bunch of the top alliances being like, "Hey, bring this up, you're out." I mean, that's going to be how it is, and I don't want to be controlled on that level where I can see people totally just like not in our alliance. Our alliance isn't like that, but
Yeah, we're
other
not
top
quite
alliances,
at that level, no.
yeah,
We're more
where
chill than that.
exactly where. But the alliances that aren't, those are the ones that break up because they're going to be the hardcore. Hey, these guys don't want to want to follow our lead, so we got to get rid of them and get someone else. Which is it's kind of shitty because people do treat these alliances like their family.
Oh, I think that's exactly I don't know, but I would assume that's one of the main things that broke up. I can't remember, Legion or whatever. It's a different alliance. Whatever the Roman-Ax alliance was.
Yeah, yeah. Was it Legion and Cabal or?
I can't remember. When my arena shard fused this week, I got a Legion guy in there. I don't know if it's the same Legion of Cabal or something different.
Yeah, I like that. It was funny when realizing that the shards came together. All of a sudden, I'm like in the 50 spot, and I see all the other top people in the 40s and 50s. I'm like, what just happened here?
Yeah, it was a weird
It's like
feeling.
it was weird, and then like bringing myself back up, I'm like, I know that person. Who the hell's that?
Who is that guy? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, now the top of my shard is someone in the Masters tier. I can't remember what they call it in this.
Oh man.
I've never been in it myself, so I don't know what to call it, but they are scary. 15 million TCP.
Yeah. See, and that's the other thing. Like with Arena, I used to be more competitive when it was a full black order, and I was always in the top 10, like fighting for top. But then once Doom came about, and I've had just a baby Doom, there was no reason for me to even like try to compete because they would just take out my black order easily, whatever. So I'm waiting to get my full-fledged Doom in the next few days, and then I'll become more competitive again, which also sucks because that means I have less cores now.
Yeah. It feels like you can't. You're always like going one step forward and 2 steps back, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and I feel, especially as of late, I'll be at like 22, and then I'll look back and I'm at like 43, and I'm like, what the hell just happened? So
yeah, they said they were addressing that slingshotting thing and all that, but I don't know if it ever really happened, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I feel that if they just tell us that they're going to work on it, then that's good enough, and we're like, okay, and then we'll bring it back up in 3 months, and then they'll say, oh yeah, no, we really are, and that's kind of how they do things.
100%.
So, very, very, very sad. But the blue ISO, did you see what the blue ISO actually does? And do you actually give a crap about barrier finally?
I did not. So this is gonna be a fun little learning experience for me and everyone watching. I'm not up to date on what the blue ISO does. I wanted to be spoiler free, but now that it's happening, I want to know, because it reminds me of a new game coming out almost. Because I was so excited for the blue ISO until I realized the changes they were making to Doom Raid.
Yeah, no, it's enhancing quite a bit. I remember I saw a video a while back about it, and oh man, it's been removed. Damn it! I was going to try to look up what it actually did, but I mean, it enhances them and makes a striker. Okay, so striker, when an enemy has at least 2 vulnerables, striker will deal additional damage based on their max health to an enemy, increasing the striker's potency. This damage bypasses armor and barrier.
So a piercing percent health damage.
Yeah. Fortifier. So Fortifier gains several bonuses with the T2 ISO to further protect the character. On turn, Fortifier gains minor defense up. Fortifier will also gain barrier on spawn based on their max health. Now that small defense up is I forgot what percentage they
It's
said
25 instead of 50.
Is it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I was reviewing all those other things because I was trying to find Safeguard before they revealed it today.
Oh, yeah. See, it's. So I do like what these things do, but but to have them activated, we have to get T2 level 5. I mean, it's. I mean, they better load us up. That's all I'm saying.
They have to load us up in some other way other than the raid too, because they're locking the content behind a paywall at that point if they don't.
Yeah,
and that's gonna really start hemorrhaging players if they do that.
Yeah. So with Fortifier, because I have maybe 2 people set at Fortifier, like it's recommended. I think Doctor Strange. Do you think Fortifier is even a good class that people begrudgingly use because it really doesn't do much?
I think it's only a good class if you have someone that you want to live for just that little bit longer. And like the only characters I run it on, I can say personally, are I run it on Domino because I only have her gear 12 compared to the rest of the X-Force, and I want her to live long enough to get Disrupt off. And then I also run it on Strife because he's not super big, and I want him to live long enough to get his ability block off if he can. But
see,
really,
I
that's
put 6 red stars on Strife, so I just went full. I think I put healer on him actually.
For Strife?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But yeah.
But yeah, the barrier, because I was going to do barrier initially, but then I was like, I'm not going to get him to level 5 ISO because in the beginning, and I guess still today, they're like, if it's not level 5 ISO barrier, then it's not going to do much. But I still keep it on Doctor Strange.
Yeah. I don't remember if I run that or skirmish around him. I probably run barrier because my Strange is pretty small. The whole of my supernatural is not that good, aside from Ghost Rider.
See what it is, and it's right because I was talking to my friend in the Lower Alliance today and just asking about like power armor and aim. I'm like, yeah, they're obsolete at this point. Like they're like you can throw an Ultron on their team, but it's still not going to do anything.
Yeah, and I don't like that either because I have a huge aim. I like those characters a lot. I love MODOK.
Yeah, well, the moment I started to build aim for Aimtron is when they started to fall out. Oof. And so I was like, damn. So I always hate those teams where it's like, let's build them up, and then they fall out. Like I don't mind I know X Factor's fallen down a little bit, but I have a pretty decent size X Force.
Oh yeah,
I'm a pretty decent
they're still
X-Force.
Good in some situations.
Yeah,
I think they're just getting. I think I don't want to cut you off here, but because I just know this thought's gonna slip my mind if I don't say it.
Yeah, do it.
I think that they're just getting put in the number 2 spot kind of because of Shadowland being the premier war offense team now. They're so good.
Well, I think one of the problems is like with a lot of these teams is X Factor has to be built up pretty high to punch up like 50K, 20K on some teams.
Absolutely.
And if they're not like 6 red star, this, that, they're going to fail. But now they're coming out with teams that you can essentially have at a decent level. And like since I first started out with my X Factor and my Shadowlands, I'm punching up 100K at least. Now that I have them build up more, I'm punching up 200K or more. And it's pretty great because some of them are still at only 4 stars. Like they're not like fully loaded. They're still, like I think my Moon Knight's still G12 because of that stupid Gravitonium.
Me too, man. I need all of that for Longshot and Shatterstar.
Yep, and so but to have a team that's fully functional and allowed at our level of war, which again isn't the top, but it's up. I mean, it's Platinum 2. It's pretty great to just be like, hey, I have this team, and it's allowing me to still be competitive, and not, let me load in a bunch more gear, and then they'll finally be useful.
Yeah, they really changed my mind about the whole T4 intensive team thing, because I used to not be for that. I used to not like teams that were super T4 intensive, but then when Shadowland came out, it really like changed the whole script, because once I finally got them all the way upgraded, oh my gosh, like they are so much fun to play with. I look forward to wars sometimes just so I can hit with them.
Oh, exactly. X Factor and Shadowlands, it used to just be X-Force for me, and even X-Men. And now at this point, I'm just like, God, who do I use X-Men against? I'm like, geez.
I know, that's why I put mine on defense. I just can't.
Yeah, which is sad because Cyclops was my first 6 red star that I was like happy for.
That's a great pull.
Yeah, and he does
Especially
so
back in
much
the day.
damage when he goes off. Yeah, and I finally got Phoenix to have higher damage than him, so it works great. Although for some reason Mercs like to kill Psylocke first, who's a low level, but whatever, it's fine.
I would just like to say, by the way, because people who are in the video are gonna be mad if I don't acknowledge it, I did just beat Dark Dimension 4 again.
Beautiful.
It's been
You
done.
did it. Yeah, goddamn did it, and you
But
did it.
continue,
before me.
and we'll start talking about the rewards and why they're kind of weird.
Yeah, so obviously you're not going to be upgraded long shot right now. But yeah, it just these teams that make the game fun to use again instead of just like power armor. I feel like I did have that feeling towards power armor when they came out with Ironheart, where she could beat Red Skull, which helped them beat Red Skull, where I'm like, I love this, I can't wait to use it next. Those are the kind of things I really like about War.
Mm-hmm.
But now let's talk about what you just did.
Well, I've, after 2 weeks plus, have completed my second round of DD4, getting Big Boy Doom. I just wanted to talk about the rewards because they say they're random, but I do believe they are locked. Because I swore, because I loved watching Dutch Rudder's documentation of his. Rewards are locked, so what you get are Tesseracts. You get 18 Tesseracts. Those are usable for Corvus, Scientist Supreme. And the first thing I want to say is, in the first completion, they only give you 200 Superior Focus Catalyst parts, and those are the most bottlenecked of all of the Superior Catalyst pieces.
Really?
But second round, they give you 1,000, so they just say, okay, fine, by the time you get done with your second run.
Okay.
450 armor catalysts, 900 damage, and resistance catalysts, 1,500 health. And then you get, I'll just go back up to the other things. We'll talk about the G15 uniques last, because these are the ones that are like the unfarmable ones, the G13 mini uniques. You're getting 18 a piece of arcane magics, which if you're at this point and you're done with your second round, you probably don't need them for anyone. Carbonadium, which is useful for Polaris and no one else, unless you want Luke Cage. Alien Spores, if you don't have Carnage G15, you can do that. Astral Energy, Psylocke. That's the only person I need it for. Uru, Asgardians, and Ultimus and Yondu. Let's see, what else did we get? The last one, Adamantium. Okay, this one's decent. X-23, Ultron, Mystique. That's not bad.
Wolverine, don't leave out Wolverine.
Oh, sorry, you get Extremist too, which Misty actually uses. But if you are like me and haven't taken many or aim up too high of gear tiers, you have a lot of that already.
Yeah, no, that's true. Oof, it's brutal, but it still feels good.
There's better news. There's better news ahead. We're also getting a ton of full pieces for Taskmaster / Corvus / Fury.
Nice.
Another full piece for either Red Skull or it's a bio piece, so Red Skull or Stature. You get a Delta Viroid. That's for Axemen or Longshot. The Laser Scope for Ultron or Shuri. You get some protective maneuvers for Taskmaster. You really get quite a bit of completed pieces on the second completion. For Black Bolt, Ultron, White Tiger, Transcendent Talisman. Let's see what else we got. Another piece for Bishop, another piece for White Tiger, another completed piece for Bishop or Beast. More for Ultron.
Well, that's not bad.
No, these are pretty good. They give you really good completed pieces on your second completion. I think you only got 3 or 4 on the first one, and here you get 14 or 16, and a lot of them are for mutants, which is nice.
But how do you feel now at this point? Like I always love the chase during Dark Dimension where you beat it, and then the second time you beat it, and then after that it's almost like, well, now what?
Well, I love border chasing, so I'm gonna keep going until I get the maximum border.
Oh yeah.
So I don't feel like I'm done yet.
Me too. I beat, was it Dark Dimension 2?
Yep, 10 times.
Yeah, 10 times, and people are like, why does your thing keep changing? Like in my first alliance, I'm like, because I'm fucking going for this.
Yeah, that's exactly what's about to happen with me. But yeah, I'm gonna miss the rewards. I wish they would do reduced rewards for every time you complete it afterwards, like a tenth of the rewards or something, just so you're earning something for your effort.
They really should. I mean, some asshole spent a lot of time making this thing for us.
They really did.
So why couldn't he just be like, you know what? This thing is going to screw you guys. You're going to take months to beat this thing. You're going to get in arguments with people. Just here's some gold at least. Like every time. Here's like 5 T4s. It's like it deserves that, because every time you're putting in time into their game, you're because I'll still play Dark Dimension 3 to test people out, and it's like I get nothing from it. But imagine if they just did that, how much it would keep people playing this game instead of just throwing themselves at it. Because I can't imagine people are into this game as much as like we are, a lot of other people.
There's no way. I don't know. I really don't
Ridiculous.
know.
Yeah, at least, and that's the thing. Like, we're so sick, we have to play for this stupid little collar that changes, but we love it because it's an extra thing.
We do. I mean, I feel a sense of gratification having upgraded this Doctor Doom character, even though he's not meta like he used to be.
Yeah. Speaking of that, Heroes for Hire. Now that we've seen Infinity Watch, who, by the way, that comic was horrible. That's another topic for another time. That they're going to be so powerful. I mean, if anyone's seen the videos yet from the Envoys, go check them out. But they make Heroes for Hire nothing. How much higher are you going to bring up your Heroes for Hire now?
Well, they are staying at level 71, gear tier 12 for me.
Exactly. That's where the moment I saw that video. I mean, a little bit beforehand, I was like, well, I'm not going to go full tilt. I need to make sure. I want to see what happens. And just out of the blue, when they showed this video, it's like, oh, okay, they're definitely staying 71. They're still going to be formidable. Not everyone's going to get Infinity Watch, but at the same time, I don't want to put all this time and effort into that team like I did for Marauders, because now I'm getting beaten by anybody. Really.
Yeah, that's the thing, is people I watched called this. They said, don't buy this team. It's a war defense team. They did the same thing with Red Skull. I knew that, and it happened, and I will never tell people how to spend their money, and I stand by that. It's America. It's wherever you live. You can do whatever you want. You're a human being. But you should know that they love to introduce defense teams that seem overpowered, and then immediately they will pull the rug right out from under your feet to make more money from another sucker.
Exactly, and especially at this moment with so many teams. Like before, there were just enough teams for defense and offense, and then a few stragglers here and there. Now it's, look, if you want to put money into defense, go ahead. But in my opinion, since I switched that mentality, like when I first started, I was all about defense. Now I'm just like, no, I'm going for offensive teams because they're more fun. I'm going for raid teams because they're more fun, because those are the things that you use more often anyway. It's not satisfying to see. To build a defensive team, because you can't see them do anything. Yeah,
and like we were saying earlier with the full clear meta stopping, like even though that might change a little bit, like there's not gonna be enough people that unlock this Infinity Watch team because the requirements are so strict. So that's not really gonna change. Like it's still gonna keep this kind of newer, slower war wave, I think.
Up those jobbers, it's like multiple man's, and same with Polaris. I said that before, but now I really like using the whole team.
I do too. I just started using them in war, and they are so much fun to use against Doc Ock because Polaris just messes them up entirely. And I use Minerva as the 5th just to get some extra healing in there, because if you punch across or up a little bit, you need that just so you can survive the initial wave of damage.
Yeah, using them. Travis uses Namor when he does it. We both go for try to outdo each other with 200 plus K punch ups with them. I'll use Squirrel Girl just because she clears the slow of Emma, and blind and whatnot if you time it right. But I mean, I get why you use Namor, but I have no T4s in my Namor to help with extra crit and damage and whatnot. So. And my Squirrel Girl's a little bit higher than him, but man, that team together is so great, especially the multiple mans. And Polaris just they do what they're supposed to do. They're not as flashy as the other two guys, but the other two guys are the damage dealers. Great damage dealers.
Right now, I'm seriously considering pressing the equip all button on Gear 15 long shot.
Do it. It's worth it. I mean, if you want to get that Doom node's gone now, but
I know,
that
right?
is a it's a great upgrade, man. I mean, you will not, especially when it comes to arena and other times, or RTA especially. You're gonna love it.
All right, I'm doing it. You talked me into it.
Yeah. This game has done what I never thought it would do. It makes me actually like characters that I hated before from comics. Like when they announced Longshot, I was like, I hate this jobber with the mullet. This is ridiculous. And then I love him now.
My X Factor's got a bit bigger. Wow, they didn't give me enough mutant gear to take me 2 mutants to 15. That's garbage.
But do you have enough Gravitonium or whatever for Shatterstar? For, like, if you do get the mutant stuff?
I think so.
Oh,
no, I don't. I'm halfway there. That's okay.
Man. Yeah,
That's all good. I'm going to do this, though, because I pulled 7 red stars on her. I'm going to take White Tiger up to 15 as well.
Nice. That's got to be good.
It feels pretty good. Yeah, that 7 red pull on her was one of the craziest things I've ever gotten.
It's to get those 7s. It's just like, oh my god! Like, especially on a character like that, though, where it's not like you have to be like, well, that's good for this. Like, I got a Black Widow 7-star recently, and it's good, but it's not White Tiger good.
Yeah,
it's White Tiger is she's the damage dealer on that team.
I hope she's farmable soon. That's all I got to say about that, because they have not put any more offers up for her. Silver Surfer gets an offer every week, but not White Tiger. Where's my love for White Tiger?
Sad. That Surfer thing is just like, hey, sorry we fucked up so much in the past. Here's a Silver Surfer.
That's exactly what it is. That's funny.
Where everyone's like, oh, okay, I guess I can deal with that.
That's honestly what I kind of felt like the Kestrel event was a big sorry to the community. Like, sorry we messed up so much. Here's a great character for free.
Yeah, I think both of them were 1-2 punch of, hey, you've said a lot of negative stuff in the past whatever months. There were skilletary issues. There was this and that. And how about 2 of the greatest characters in the whole game? Like, okay, now how about an obscenely good defensive team for war? All right, now how about an obscenely great new arena meta? And counter to that insanely good defensive team for war.
Yeah, the meta is really like jumping in leaps and bounds forward more and more.
Yeah, I look forward to what it's going to do and how it's going to change things. And my friends to be like, hey, I unlocked Gamora. Is she good? It was Nebula. And I laughed at him. And then they announced the rework. I said, you know what? You just got lucky.
They just got very lucky. Yeah, that's such a weird feeling, isn't it? To be able to say that that's a great character now when she's been irrelevant for quite a while.
It is. And I warned both of my friends. I said, do not put anything into Wolverine or Spider-Man. Spider-Man, you kind of need him in the beginning until you start unlocking more people, but don't go crazy. And they built them up to level 40, and it's like, God damn it, man. And they're like, but it's Wolverine. I'm like, I know. Just stop, please. He's absolutely useless.
I would take Colleen up to 14 right now too, but I think I need to save the skill gear for Kestrel.
Yeah, good point, because hopefully I'll in like 4 days I'll be able to take her to G14, but then I'll still need to get those stupid shield pieces for her for 15. So
yeah, for those of you wondering, for the gear dump that I got from Dark Dimension 4, I already had Doom upgraded to 15, so I took up Longshot to 15, White Tiger to 15, and I want to take Shatterstar up to 14, but I just don't have the mutant gear for that right now.
Yeah, that's along with characters. Well, only a couple. That's the other thing. I've just been farming that Doom mutant node to get that stupid DNA piece.
Superior spliced X genes are so hard to come across, and there's only one node where it's a double farm.
Yeah, if you're not already farming them or buying them anytime you see them, you're making a huge mistake. They are needed for so many good characters. And I know we're going to be on a run of cosmic characters soon, but or I guess mystic kind of gear, but yeah, definitely you need to get that
It's necessary gear.
Man, so are you ready for this new? I guess we could talk about next time the new update that's coming. With any other new things?
Editing dog here, just coming at you to fill in the hole at the end of this podcast because my mic cut out. Thankfully, in only the last 5 minutes of the hour-long podcast, so we really dodged a bullet there. It came unplugged in the last 5 minutes, and the question Obscure Gent asked that I wanted to answer really fast was what I'm looking forward to in the next patch. The answer is absolutely nothing. There's a lot of scary changes coming our way between the new Doom Raid requirements that are going to be unfavorable, between the Infinity Watch team, which has a non-player friendly unlock, as well as many other sketchy things that Scopely's doing. So with that in mind, this has been the first episode of the Untitled MSF podcast. I hope to catch you all in the next one. Obscure Gent, thank you as always for the collab. We will keep doing this for you all every week. Have a good one. Peace.